And hello, all you fabulous light beings out there. I'm Teri Lee, pure visionary, psychic medium. Thank you for joining me. And if you're just checking this channel out, I'm kind of hoping you'll hang around and maybe subscribe. And if you're a subscriber, you know I love you from the bottom of my heart. So another interesting show today. I really have to tell you, and this is the truth. I start to feel like, okay, it's time. We need to do another show. And so I begin to look and listen for messages, or maybe think that the channeled writing might be coming along, or look for some kind of a prediction to show up. And I never know what's going to happen. I never know. And as you can see by my backdrop, I was planning on doing another tarot show. I was going to read a bunch of tarot and do some questions, and that's not happening, folks. They had other ideas. So last night at about 4 o'clock in the morning, I feel something coming on. I'm awake and I'm kind of in between that, sleep and awake time. And I'm like, okay, all right, what's going on? And I can just feel when they have something to say. And then I got this clear vision of a jar of bees. A jar of bees. A mason jar filled with bees. And I'm thinking, okay, I know I'm not dreaming this. So this is the guide showing me something. And I'm like, what is this jar of bees? What does this mean? What is this jar of bees? Took a little while for things to come through. And basically, they began to say, this is the feeling of what's going on right now all over the planet and in the planet. It's a jar of bees. And I don't know if you've ever heard the term, and I hadn't really until I looked it up after this little thing we had. Jar of bees, apparently it's a term that when all hell breaks loose, someone has spilled a jar of bees. So, that was like, okay, yeah, you're right. It's kind of like a jar of bees. And we're all just hanging in there. And if you've watched any of the other shows that we have on this channel, there's a lot talking about using our peaceful spirit and putting it out there into the world, into the situations that are not going so well right now, and using our own internal power, our God-given power, the power we arrived with on this planet, to inject positive energy and light into the world. And that's a beautiful thing. And I know many of you are out there doing it. But what they begin to speak to me about is this realization. That's what they want to say. It's a realization of what we've been through. God knows. God knows. 4 years of a wannabe dictator who scared the living daylights out of us. And thank God he wasn't very smart. We got through that. And then a pandemic, which none of us ever probably imagined. I remember thinking, and seeing movies about it and thinking, yeah, that's a possibility. And, but it wasn't something that was present in my mind, a pandemic that shut us down, that enclosed us, that divided us. And now this. And now this horrible, hideous, evil war. Here we are. And it's like somebody spilled a jar of bees. I hope you're all hanging in there. I hope you're all using the resources that are available to you. And that's about what we're going to talk about. So when I woke up this morning, I started writing down the things that they were speaking to me about. It's kind of not like a channeled writing. It's sort of just like a list of things I'm supposed to talk about. So they came one thing after the other, and that's how I'm going to give it to you. The main message here is suit up. That's what I've heard that before in my channeled writings, and they just keep saying that to me. Suit up, suit up. Have a realization of where we are right now, and understand that anything approached in fear and anxiety is not going to go well. So we want to know what's going to happen, and we're expecting that to give us peace. But the peace that we have inside is our God-given peace. And that is given to us by the Creator when we came to this planet. And we've talked about this before. This peace, this power, this knowing of who you really are can settle you down, can ground you, and help you go forward. Now, one of the things that you can do, as well as all the things that we've talked about in our previous video sessions, is to suit up. You can suit up spiritually. You can prepare yourself, not out of fear, not out of anxiety, but out of common sense and a duty to yourself and those around you. So what we're going to talk about is a series of things that you can do now, along with, I'm sure you've been having a lot of talks with the Creator about peace on earth and love for your fellow man and the right of all people to live in peace and prosperity. Forgive me if I'm just kind of flowing with this because I don't want to edit it. I'm just going to go for it. So the first thing they gave me, suit up. And the most important, hone your skills of connection to the Creator, the guides, and the angels. Hone your skills in your prayers, in your meditation, in your yoga, in your earthing and grounding. I actually went outside today in my stocking feet because it is 45 degrees out there, but there's grass. It's amazing. And I did some earthing before I came in to do this video. It was so powerful. I wish I could have stayed out there all afternoon, but yeah, got stuff to do. Okay, so earthing, grounding, and, as I just said, connecting with nature. This fuels you up. This fortifies you. This, once again, connects you to who you really are. Okay, the next thing they wanted me to talk about, self. Self-determination, self-reliance, and self-sufficiency. This is my interjection here. You know, we have been kind of floating along, and in a pretty, not perfect, but much more comfortable world than we're sensing right now. And we're all a little bit like, sometimes, like deer caught in the headlights. What is happening? What is happening, right? But as I said, you can't approach anything in anxiety and fear and expect it to turn out well. I'm a name drop here. I love the channel Suspicious Observers. I've watched that for a long time now because I'm basically a space geek and sun geek and earth vibration geek. But it's a wonderful channel. And I love the saying that he says on the show, and that is eyes open, no fear. Eyes open, no fear. We can look at what we can do and do it without fear and anxiety. So if we look around at what is happening, we can see things that we can do to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, our family, our needs too. Self-determination, get it done. Self-reliance, we should not be so dependent on our government, on our city, on our state, on our neighbors. You know, I hate to sound like an old fogey, but back in the day, people were far more self-reliant. What happens if there's no internet? What happens if there's no cell phone service? How dependent are we? How much self-reliance do we really have right now? Examine it. Think about it. Self-sufficiency. Same thing. We need to have certain things in place so that if, should a situation occur, much like kind of what we've been through in the last 2.5, almost 3 years now, you've got an idea of what you can do to get through it. So the first thing that they gave me was first aid. Okay, so have a first aid kit in your car. Have a first aid kit in your home. And it's great if it's not like in a drawer. Make it portable so that if you do have to leave your home, you can grab it. If there's some instance where someone's injured and hurt, you can grab it and go help that person. Now, first aid kits can be really expensive. And sometimes you pay for a first aid kit and it's just a bunch of Band-Aids, Q-tips, right? So what you can do, though, and I actually did this, I went around my house and I dug through things and I got an organizer that rolls up and I put things in the little pockets. And then I got on Amazon and I shopped and got a good price on Neosporin and Band-Aids and that kind of thing. You might find most of what you need in your home right now. There's plenty of information about it. The Red Cross has really good lists that you can just go through. And I think that's what I did. I started mine with the Red Cross list and put it together. You know, we go camping. I have a first aid kit in my trailer. I have a first aid kit in my car, and I have a giant portable first aid kit that I always take with us when we go camping. And that resides in my home when we're not camping. So that's what I pictured when they told me to talk to you about first aid. The other thing is a good, handy little first aid book. Okay, you can get real serious. There's some real serious first aid information out there. And if you're into that, I highly advise that you do it. It's part of preparing for the age that we live in right now. The jar of bees. So the other thing, let's prepare to grow food. If you have a yard, and I am blessed to have a big backyard, tilling up a large portion, I mean, how much commitment, how much time, how much energy you have for it. We actually bought some containers from Costco. They're the canvas kind with big handles on them. And you can just put them in a sunny spot in your yard and line them up and grow what you know you're going to eat. We also have a corner of our yard that's kind of turned into a little garden. And we're growing more food there. If you live in the city, you can grow container garden on your patio, on your balcony, in your kitchen window, on a table next to a large window in your home. I don't think that we're going to suffer a starvation and great need of food in our country in the next couple of years, but I certainly think it's going to become more expensive. And if you can ease that expense by growing some food for yourself, cucumbers, oh yeah, zucchinis, and the best of all, I think, I don't know, I like strawberries too, but tomatoes, oh, tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes, nice big beefsteak tomatoes. Yeah, you can do it. It's extremely inexpensive. And it's very calming and fun, and you feel good about going out there and picking that fresh tomato. It's nice. Think about that. Storing food. Now, I'm not suggesting that you all go out and spend a fortune on food to store. But right now, because I believe the prices will continue to go up, they've already gone up where I live. I believe they will continue to go up. And what I'm hearing is now is the time to buy food, the food that you can. Okay, what did I say about not having to edit? I had a bit of difficulty saying prepper channels. I got it this time, though. Plenty of channels on YouTube with sensible prepper information, how to store food, how long food will store, where to store food. And while we're at it, I'm going to talk about water too. You know, it's interesting. I never really thought that we'd ever have to worry about water. I mean, we live not too far from a river. We live in the mountains. We're close to the water source, you know. Never really occurred to me. I mean, when we go camping, we have our big jerry cans of water. But over New Year's, the city that I live in had some broken pipes underground, and we had to boil our water for a long time. So it would have been really handy to have a good source of water to start with. I mean, eventually we ended up buying a bunch of water from the grocery store, of course, but that's something to consider. That's something to think about. I mean, maybe you can fill up a couple jerry cans, put a little tiny drop of bleach in it, and hang on to it for a while. Think about what you might need in an occurrence of something that you had never dreamed of. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath here because I'm rolling really fast. Now, we talked about food. Now we're going to talk about power source. You know, with the situation going on right now with Russia and Ukraine, we need to consider the fact that it is entirely possible in this day and age that our power grids could be attacked. Not a fun thing to talk about, but take a moment, think about what you would do. You know, interesting here where I live, you know, if the power goes out in the winter, the worst thing is you better have a heat source, right? If the power goes out in the summer, you better have some place or something that will keep your food cold. Just basic thoughts. Just start with those basic thoughts and go from there and do what you can do. I mean, probably right now, solar power would be the best way to go. But if that's not possible for you, certainly generators are available and handy in many circumstances. Think about it. The other thing to think about is keeping the tank in your car full. Price of gas is going up. Keep that tank full. Keep that tank full. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a go bag. Okay? So a go bag is if you have an emergency. Oh, sadly, dang it. You see those poor people in Ukraine with their little carry-on luggage bag. It tears my heart up. It just tears my heart up. And I know it does you too. But you should have a go bag. You need to have a go bag that has clothing that relates to the season, um, toothbrush, toothpaste. Just think about what you would need. This is going to save you time if you do have to evacuate in any kind of circumstance. I live in the mountains. Our thing is fire, and in this valley, I've had to evacuate because of fire coming towards our home, and actually twice. I laugh now, but it is it's something that really grips your mind. I know the first time that I had to do it, and I felt flustered and, of course, fearful. The second time I knew what I needed to grab, and I knew where it was. Hence the go bag. Hence the things that you need to grab if you had to leave your home in a matter of minutes. Do it. Do it. Do it soon. Have it ready. If you need to go to your doctor, if you have prescriptions you need to have, go to your doctor and have a discussion with him about emergency prescription. And I'll just leave it at that. These are things you need to think about. And think about them seriously, because this is the age of the jar of bees, okay? I don't know how else to put it. I mean, and we'll talk in a few minutes about earth changes. The go bag goes along with that as well. Plan ahead without fear and anxiety, and it'll make you feel better. Once you get it done, you'll be like, okay, I know where my go bag is. I've got my extra medication in there. I've got a couple changes of clothes. I've got cash. Let's talk about cash. Once again, in this day and age, where war isn't always done with dropping bombs and artillery attacks, it also can be an attack on our society to shut down our banking system. It can happen. So, how about pulling out some cash? The good old sock drawer, huh? The good old sock drawer cash, under your mattress cash. Get it. Put it under there. It may not be a lot, but do it. If you got a jar full of coins that you've been collecting in your house, go to the grocery store, turn those coins into, or the bank. They have those coin machines. Turn them into cash. Stash some cash. Think about it. Do it. You'll feel better, and you won't be caught by surprise. You won't be caught empty-handed, literally, if the ATM is not working. Okay, next one. I just kind of chuckled when this popped into my head. That they said, healthy habits. Healthy habits. Okay, so because we live in the age of the jar bees, you need to keep yourself healthy. Exercise. Try to eat right. Nobody eats right all the time, right? Try your best. Try your very best to eat healthy foods that are good for you. Make sure that you take care of yourself. I shouldn't be the one talking about sleep, because there are many nights that I don't get much sleep. But try very hard to get as much sleep as you can. Try to hydrate, Can't say it enough. We got to be healthy. We got to be strong. And that, again, makes you feel good. That, again, makes you feel good to be healthy and strong. Okay, healthy habits. That's on the list. And then the final thing that they said to write down was be aware, not afraid. Be aware of your surroundings. Take a tip from nature. I love how I let my dog, my golden retriever, Jax, out in the morning. And he stretches on the back porch, and then he sticks his nose up to the wind, and he looks around. You can tell he's assessing. He's assessing the yard. He's assessing the other side of the fence, what sounds are in, what other dogs are talking about in the neighborhood. If you've ever been around horses, horses are highly sensitive to their environment. I mean, some of them can be pretty spooky, but horses have survived as herd animals quite well because of their awareness of their environment. Be aware of your environment. You know, um, Not in fear. Be aware, not afraid. Wow, this is like, I don't even know how long this is, but there you have it. That's what they wanted me to talk to you about today. And, this is not to scare anyone. This is like they said, it's common sense. It's common sense. It's self-determination, self-reliance, and self-sufficiency. And I think one of the major benefits of this list of things to consider is that it eases the pain of feeling like your life and your world is out of control because you have things that you have control over, right? Oh man, the sun's setting. I got to wrap this up. When the sun hits the window on the other side of this computer, I light up like Las Vegas, baby. So we're going to have to get this over with soon. I don't want to do all this without having some kind of message. And so I am turning to the Sacred Earth Oracle cards. They are my favorite oracle cards at the moment because they always, to me, touch on what I need to hear, and they're beautiful. So we're just going to take a minute here and a deep breath, and we're going to draw an oracle card. Let's see what we come up with. Oh, sorry. Just clicked on my computer. Wow, this is interesting. Specialization. Wow, that's amazing. I love this artwork. Okay, let's have a look as to what this is saying to us. Know what you want to do and do what works. Refine your abilities. Transfer a skill set from one environment to another. Don't underplay what you are capable of. Give up the idea that you must be good at everything. Narrow your interests and build on your existing strengths to conserve output and increase your value. A creative response to change will see you flourish. Whoa, that is great. That fits right in because we need to have a creative response to change, and that will help us flourish. There is a higher purpose to everything, but currently it is not clear. Something in your life is changing, and it is unsettling. This is giving me chills. Soon the pieces of the puzzle will start falling into place and you will begin to find meaning in it. For now, trust in the refinement process. Hone your ability for love and develop your capacity for compassion. Interesting, that word hone pops up again. We just talked about honing our skills of connection to the Creator, our guides, and our angels. Back it up just a minute. For now, trust in the refinement process. Hone your ability for love and develop your capacity for compassion. As taints fall away, the truth becomes clearer. Ooh, that's really good. I'm going to leave that right there. Wow, thank you. That fit right into what we're talking about. You know, I've really been keeping my ear to the ground with planet Earth right now. There's a lot of shaking and quaking going on. I believe that in my predictions for 2022 that I mentioned earthquakes, and I definitely feel like the quakes have been happening all around the Ring of Fire, but on the west coast of the United States, it's been pretty still. So things may start moving, and those are other things that we need to be aware of. Not fearful. All of these things that we just talked about, being self-reliant, knowing first aid, having food, keeping your tank full of gas, having a power source, all of these things fit into so many occasions that come up that can be challenging, but if you're ready, you can go forward in faith and you can flourish and you'll feel better for it. So I'm going to wrap this up. And I want to mention that on Friday the 25th at 3:30 Mountain Time, we will be going live from this channel with Sun Psychic Jean and Key Guru Journey, Teri Suzuki. I'll try to put a little bleep at the end of this video so that all the information for all the time zones will be there. I'm very excited about doing it and a little nervous. Yeah. I'm sure I'll get through it. I guess I better prepare, right? Okay. You know, I just want to send so much love to all of you out there. And I want to thank you for all the things you do. For in this YouTube community that we have, loving each other, encouraging each other, supporting each other. And I'm sure that you're doing it also in your community and in your family. Love's the answer. And as I end every show, I would like to say, please like and subscribe to this channel. And always remember, you are loved beyond measure.